Okay, for today's topic, I'll be discussing the law enforcement pillar as the first pillar in the administration of the criminal justice system. So first, the law enforcement pillar as the first pillar is considered to be the initiator or the prime mover of the system of the CJS sa ating bansa. Tulad ng nabanggit ko sa inyo nung introduction natin. So it is considered again as the initiator of the actions that the other pillars who must act upon to attain its goal or its objective or yung objective ng ating CJS. So without the policemen, 'di ba, the PNP or the law enforcement agencies or yung bodies natin sa ating bansa initiating the action, 'di ba, of arresting, of investigating crimes and so on, the system or the process would be at a standstill. So yan ay hindi kikilos, hindi gagana ang ating sistema, hindi gagana yung process, hindi gagana ang CJS natin kung walang mag-i-initiate ng action. And that is the law enforcement pillar. So dito, as you can see, the function of the law enforcement pillar in general. So the following are the function of the law enforcement pillar in relation to the administration of the CJS. So ito po again ay hindi limited lamang sa PNP but to all law enforcement agencies and bodies sa ating bansa. Hindi lang to limited sa PNP, marami po tayo ditong sanghay ng gobyerno, ahensya ng gobyerno na nagpapatupad din at nag-enforce ng law. So una, to prevent criminal behavior. So prevention involves all factors directed toward eliminating the cause of crime. Tulad ng nabanggit natin kanina, pine-prevent natin yung commission of crimes. Aalamin natin why crime exists, diba, sa society or sa isang place at ano yung factors na nagtutulak sa isang tao para makapag-commit ng krimen. At pag nalaman natin yon, diba, iiwasan natin at babawasan natin yung desire ng tao, yung opportunity ng tao to prevent the criminal behavior. So ito po ay mas specific dun sa tao mismo, 'di ba? That is possible to commit crime sa mga tao na possible magkaroon ng behavior na magtulak sa kanya para mag-commit ng krimen. So ano yung matutulong natin sa kanila para mapigilan nila yung pag-commit ng krimen, to prevent the criminal behavior. Again, hindi tayo limited sa PNP kasi marami po tayong batas na hindi lang patungkol to be specific sa criminal law. Marami tayong special laws about sa drugs, sa rape, and so on, sa mga ibang bagay, smuggling, diba, cybercrime, para maiwasan nila na mag-commit sila ng mga ganong bagay. Example na lang yung mga taong uneducated about the laws na existing, diba? Officers can give lectures on crime prevention, diba, emphasizing the people. To be specific, pwedeng student o resident sa isang lugar, sa isang barangay, di ba? For example, educating women on the prevention of rape, visiting schools and other barangays, discussing topics about drugs, di ba? So, any community involvement na makakatulong para malaman or ma-educate yung mga tao para mapigilan yung pag-commit nila ng krimen, to prevent their criminal behavior. And on the other side, dun sa mga tao na possible na maging biktima, di ba? Pwede rin silang maging educated about the things na kailangan nilang gawin or iwasan para ma-prevent yung pagiging victim nila. Di ba? What they can do to make it less likely that they will become the victims of the criminal. So again, any community involvement ng ating law enforcement body may have a positive effect on crime prevention. Pangalawa, to reduce crime. So kung kanina, mapigilan natin yung criminal behavior para mapigilan yung pag-commit ng tao ng krimen. Now, sabi nga natin, hindi natin may iwasan na meron at merong krimen at meron na kriminal na mag-exist. So we have now to reduce crime. At paano natin mapipigilan yon? Diba? The crime reduction or yung elimination again ng opportunities and desire for the criminal behavior na pwede nilang magawa, di ba? Na pwedeng maging dahilan para mag-commit sila ng krimen. Di ba? Yung diniscuss natin nung una, the formula of crime wherein we have to lessen the desire and the opportunity ng tao for him not to commit a crime. So, anong gagawin natin para ma-reduce yung krimen? Visibility ng mga pulis, magpapatrol, diba? Magpapatrolya o magkakondak ng checkpoints, magbabahay-bahay, diba? Magka-campaign and so on, diba? Na mga activities na makakatulong para ma-reduce ang crime. The elimination, to be specific, ng opportunity para sa kriminal, diba? Na hindi na siya makakumit ng krimen dahil sa presensya ng ating mga kapulisan. Mare-reduce yung commission ng krimen. Pangatlo, to apprehend and arrest offenders. So, ang ating law enforcement body po, agencies, sila po ay merong authority and power to apprehend, di ba, para manghuli, mang-aresto ng mga nag-violate sa law na kanilang pinapatupad sa mga offenders na tinatawag natin. Next, to protect life and property. It is essentially the purpose why PNP was created, to safeguard life and property. Diba? As a law enforcement officer, ang kanilang fundamental duty is to safeguard life and property ng community, diba? Ng public, ng mga tao na kanilang pinagsisilbihan, which is tayo. And lastly, to regulate non-criminal conduct. So, yung mga ibang gawain na walang kinalaman, diba, sa paghuli ng kriminal, usually it involves the community service. Ano ba yung may offer nila sa community to serve, diba, and the maintenance of order functions of the PNP. So, iba pang mga bagay, PCR, diba, the police community relations, ano pa ba? For example, pagsama sa mga brigada eskwela, diba, nakikisama sila sa community, diba, as part of their service na hindi related sa criminal conduct. Hindi related sa paghuli ng kriminal, hindi related sa krimen. So, yan po yung function ng ating law enforcement pillar in general. So, mamaya madi-discuss natin yung function ng mga agencies, diba, na involved sa law enforcement pillar. To be specific, the PNP, the NBI, the PDEA, at iba pang sanghay ng gobyerno na katulong ng ating kapulisan, diba, para magpatupad, diba, mag-enforce ng law. Okay, next, the concept of police. We have the concept of police service and the theories of police service. So, let us discuss first the concept of police service. So, meron tayong dalawa, the old concept and the modern concept. So, ano yung pinagkaiba nila? So, ang old concept po means throwing people, diba, more people or criminals in jail rather than keeping them out of the jail. Kaya naman, meron dyang punishment and arrest. Ano yung kinalaman ng punishment and arrest? Ang punishment po, sa old concept, yan po yung ginagamit nila or yung sole instrument nila para makontrol ang crime. So, they have the punishment, diba, para sa mga kriminal, para makontrol ang crime. So, ikukulong nila at iba pang kind of punishment para makontrol yung existence ng krimen. At yung yardstick of efficiency nila, diba, yung basehan nila na effective ang kanilang pamamahala, diba, na effective sila sa kanilang trabaho is the number of arrests. Yung dami ng taong kanilang naaresto. That is the old. So, ang kanila again na instrument or tool para makontrol ang crime is by giving of punishment sa mga taong nahuhuli nila. And then, yung basehan nila na sila ay effective is the number of arrests na nagawa nila. Kung gaano ba kadami yung nahuhuli nila every time na may gumagawa ng mali or ng krimen. That is the old concept. While the modern concept po, yung kabaliktaran niya. Ang sole instrument, diba, ng modern concept para makontrol ang krimen is the police itself. So, ano yung ginagawa ng police? The visibility, diba, the police visibility na tinatawag natin, and the police omnipresence. Diba? They make sure na laging present ang police sa community para makontrol ang commission ng crime. At yung basehan nila, diba, na sila ay effective, yung yardstick ng efficiency nila is the absence of crime. Masasabi natin na effective sila kapag walang krimen na nangyayari. Kabaliktaran nung una, di ba, the old concept, effective sila kapag marami silang nahuhuli. Effective sila na kapag every time na may gumagawa ng krimen, marami silang nahuhuli. While the modern concept, effective sila kapag walang nangyayaring krimen kasi ibig sabihin yung police, diba? Effective yung kanyang pagiging visible sa community. So, effective yung kanyang function in general. That is the modern concept. At iyon yung ating ina-apply ngayon. So, the police officers, di ba ngayon, or yung police service today, di ba, they make sure na lagi silang present, di ba, not only to perform their respective duties, but more importantly, ma-assure nila, di ba, bilang sila is nagsiserve sa public, di ba, na sila ay parte ng gobyerno, that somebody is available or within the proximity to deter people from committing crime. So, feeling ng community, feeling ng public, sila ay safe dahil dun sa presence ng police sa kanilang lugar. That is the modern concept. And then, on the other hand naman, feeling naman ng kriminal, di ba, hindi siya safe gumawa ng krimen. Kaya maiiwasan yung commission of crime. Kasi merong police na nagbabantay. Kasi merong police na visible sa community to serve, di ba, to perform his function para i-enforce yung batas at para manghuli ng kriminal if ever na gumawa ito ng krimen. And that is the modern concept. Again, the old concept, punishment, magbibigay lang yan ng punishment, diba, as a form of crime control, and yung kanilang effectiveness, nakabase yan kung marami silang nahuhuli. While the modern concept, which is yung applicable today, na kung saan the police visibility, yan yung kanilang weapon, para mapigilan yung krimen, to control crime, the police visibility, and the absence of crime. Yan yung basehan nila na dahil sa presence nila, yung mga possible na criminal ay hindi na magko-commit pa nito dahil sa kanilang presensya. And the absence of crime, again, yan yung basehan nila na sila ay effective. Kasi walang sino man ang gusto na mag-commit ng krimen dahil sa kanilang pagiging visible sa community. That is the concept of police service. So, pwede rin natin silang tawagin na reactive and proactive approach. The old concept, ang tawag din sa kanya is the reactive approach na kung saan magre-react ka lang kapag may nangyari ng krimen. So, every time na merong nangyaring krimen, huhulihin mo lang, di ba, as a form of punishment, at kung gaano kadami yung number of arrest mo, dun yung basihan or yun yung basihan na ikaw ay effective. So, reactive meaning, magre-responde ka once na may nangyari lang na krimen. And the proactive approach, di ba, bago pa may mangyaring krimen, gumagawa ka na ng paraan para maiwasan ito. Resulting to little or no crime at all. Kaya naman ang basihan natin kung bakit sila effective ay yung absence of crime. Gumagawa sila ng ways para hindi na mag-commit pa, di ba, ng krimen. Proactively, gumagawa sila ng ways, gumagawa sila ng paraan, and that is through patrolling, police visibility, na maiiwasan yung tao na mag-commit ng krimen dahil mababawasan yung opportunity niya, di ba, to commit crime. Again, reactive, gagawa ka kapag may nangyaring krimen. So, magre-respond ka lang, di ba, you are waiting for the crime to happen, saka ka magre-responde. While the modern concept, diba, iniiwasan mo na, pine-prevent mo na may mangyaring krimen dahil sa iyong presensya sa community. And resulting, diba, to the absence of crime or magre-resulta, diba, again, to a little or no crime at all. So, yan po yung dalawang concept of police service. Next, the theories of police service. So, we have the home rule theory and the Continental theory. So, ano yung pinagkaiba nilang dalawa? Sa home rule theory muna tayo. The home rule theory, nakalagay dyan, servants of the community. So, meaning to say, ang policemen daw, ang mga kapulisan daw natin, are considered as servants of the community who defend for their effectiveness of their function upon the express wishes ng mga tao. So, in short, the home rule theory po, ang police po natin o yung kapulisan po natin ay kino-consider natin as servants ng public, 'di ba? Servants of the community. So the civil servants whose duty is the preservation of public peace and security. Tulad nga ng PNP natin ngayon, di ba? To serve and protect. So, sino yung pinapatungkulan nila? Tayo yon. The public, the community, at yung mga tao, di ba? Nationwide yan. Yung mga tao sa Pilipinas, yan yung kanilang pinagsisilbihan. So, sila po ay servants ng community. While the Continental jury, sila po ay kino-consider as servants of the higher authorities. So, ano yung ibig sabihin nun? Hindi po yung tao, hindi po yung public, hindi po yung community, yung kanilang pinagsisilbihan. Yung mga police sa kanilang bansa, sa kanilang lugar, ang trabaho nila is to serve the higher authorities. And the people have little or no share at all in their duties, diba? No any direct connection with them. As compared to the home rule jury, nag-serve sa community, and on the part of the community, yung community nakikipagtulungan din sa kanila. While the Continental jury solely focus on the higher authorities at hindi sila magsisilbi para sa community. Diba? It prevails in European country where the government organization follows a centralized pattern. Diba? Nung unang panahon din, diba? For example, sa Spain, sa Italy, sa France, na kung saan ang kanilang pamamalakad is monarchy. Diba? Na kung saan ang kanilang bansa is being ruled by the king and queen. So, ibig sabihin, yung kapulisan sa kanila, nagsiserve para sa mga hari at reyna na namumuno sa kanilang bansa. While dito sa ating bansa, ang applicable po is the home rule jury. Diba? Na kung saan, yung mga na-discuss natin ng una, ano ba yung function ng law enforcement pillar natin? Ano ba yung function ng police, to be specific? Sila ay nagsiserve, diba, para sa public, diba? They are serving and protecting the public. That is why sa atin po, home rule jury po yung ating sinusunod. Again, the home rule jury, ang police ay servants ng community, while sa Continental jury, ang pinagsisilbihan nila ay yung mga higher authorities sa kanilang lugar. Okay, next. Different government police or law enforcement agencies na existing po sa ating bansa. Yan po ay sa pangunguna ng ating Philippine National Police. Diba? One of the premier law enforcement agencies sa ating bansa that is tasked to enforce the criminal law. Pursuant to the provision of the Constitution, to be specific, the Article 16, Section 6 of the 1987 Philippine Constitution, which states that the state shall establish and maintain one police force which shall be national in scope and civilian in character, to be administered and controlled by the NAPOLCOM. So, ang ating PNP po, diba, came about through the Legislative Act by the Congress pursuant to the constitutional mandate, which is kailangan daw mag-establish ng one police force throughout the Philippines. So, the Congress, compliance to this mandate, created and enacted the PNP, the establishment of the PNP, establishing the PNP that is primarily charged to perform police function throughout the Philippines. So, alam naman natin kung ano ba yung function, di ba? Bakit na-create ang PNP? So, sabi dyan, maintain one police force which shall be national in scope. So, meaning, yung PNP daw, di ba? Dapat daw yan ay nationwide, di ba? Government organization whose jurisdiction covers the entire Philippines. Di ba? Yung buong Pilipinas, PNP po ang nangangasiwa when it comes to enforcing laws. Not just by local, di ba? Hindi lang yan specific, ang PNP pang Pampanga lang yan. Hindi naman natin narinig yun, di ba? The PNP, yan ay pang Cavite lang. Kapag sa Pampanga, iba na yung nangangasiwa niyan. So, no. The PNP po, the Philippine National Police, di ba, shall be national in scope, nationwide, pang buong, di ba, Pilipinas. Hindi lang again by local, di ba? Dahil sila po is employee of the national government. Pinapangasiwaan nila yung buong bansa. And way back kasi sa history natin, mapapag-aralan nyo yan sa LEA subject nyo, sa history ng ating mga kapulisan na kung saan yung mga sinaunang police, iba't iba yung kanilang police. Depende sa local nito, di ba? Meron pang rural, di ba? Meron pang urban police. So, meron pang mga na-create na police na pang Manila lang. And so on. That is why na-come up dito ngayon na we should have one police force na pangkalahatan. And isa pa, yung police na tinutukoy dito should be civilian in character. So meaning, the police, di ba, is not part of the military although it retains some military attributes such as discipline. The military discipline na ina-apply ng ating mga kapulisan. But they should be civilian in character at hindi sila parte, diba, nakabukod sila sa ating military. Kasi way back again sa history, ang atin pong PC, diba, INP, the Integrated National Police, at iba pang mga na-create, na-establish na kapulisan noon, diba, ay meron pong kinalaman, diba, sa military, diba, parte sila, ng military, diba? Na kung saan ang PNP natin ngayon ay hindi po part ng military at sila po is civilian in character. And then lastly, ang nangangasiwa po, ang nag-a-administer po at nagko-control po sa ating PNP is the National Police Commission. Again, mapapag-usapan nyo pa yan sa ating mga susunod na pag-aaral, diba, sa inyong mga LEA subjects. So, ang ating PNP po is na-establish, na-create by virtue of RA 6975, anak establishing the Philippine National Police under a reorganized Department of the Interior and Local Government or the DILG and for other purposes. O, yung tinatawag nating DILG Act of 1990. So, yung creation po ng PNP is provided or created by virtue of that law, again, RA 6975, and it was approved noong December 13, 1990, and it was amended by RA 8551, PNP Reform and Reorganization Act of 1998 noong February 28, 1998. So there has been reorganization of the PNP by virtue of this RA 8551 on February 28. So under this law, the PNP shall be a community and service-oriented agency responsible for the maintenance of peace and public safety. So yan po yung trabaho ng ating kapulisan at meron pong certain amendments po sa batas na yan, di ba? Sa mga qualifications, sa ranking, di ba? Classification, that is to be discussed by your LEA instructors. Ano ba yung mga batas amending this law, di ba? Or amending specific provisions ng batas na to kung ano yung binago nila. So again, yan po ang ating Philippine National Police. So one of the premier law enforcement agencies sa Pilipinas that is tasked to enforce the criminal law and other laws of the land. In general, ito po yung trabaho ng PNP. To be specific, ito po yung trabaho ng PNP and in general, di ba, ito yung function nila na nakasaad dun sa batas kung ano ba yung dapat nilang gawin. Ano ba yung functions and yung kanilang powers. First, prevention of crime. So, alam nyo na yan. Next, repression, suppression of crime. So, mabawasan, di ba, mapigilan. Third, apprehension of offenders. Panguhuli ng mga kriminal. Pang-apat, conduct search and seizure na pag-uusapan natin sa susunod na topic together with the arrest or apprehension of offenders dahil isa po yan talaga sa kanilang pinaka-major na trabaho. Panguhuli and pagkukonduct ng search and seizure together with the investigation, di ba, kapag meron po tayong kaso na hinahawakan. And then lastly, protection of lives and property. So yan po yung trabaho, yan po yung aim ng ating PNP. Next, the National Bureau of Investigation. So sila po ay responsible for handling and solving syndicated cases. So alam niyo naman kung ano ba yung sindikato, di ba? Syndicated cases that are in the interest of the nation. So ito po ay isa sa ahensya ng gobyerno na katulong po ng ating PNP na task, di ba, in enforcing criminal law. So ito po ay na-establish noong November 13, 1936 by virtue of Commonwealth Act number 181 at ang brainchild po nito o yung pasimula po nito, di ba, is the late President Manuel L. Quezon together with Jose A. Yulo, di ba, the Secretary of Justice during that time. So alam niyo naman ano ba yung part ng NBI sa ating law enforcement. Diba? The detection and investigation of crimes and other offenses against Philippine laws. Diba? Nakikipag-coordinate sila with the PNP, diba? The National Police, in the maintenance of peace and order. And aside from that, diba, nag-handle ng cases, diba, specific syndicated cases. Malalaking kaso na kung saan involved po yung mga sindikato. And also, alam nyo din naman na ang NBI po acts as the National Clearinghouse of criminal and other information for the use of all prosecuting and law enforcement entities of the Philippines. Diba, the records, the criminal records, and other information of relating to crime and criminals natin dito sa bansa. So sila po yung nag-serve as the national clearinghouse of all those criminal and other information or records. That is the NBI. So next natin is the PDEA. Alam nyo naman, kapag PDEA yung pinag-uusapan. So it is the lead agency, diba, nangungunang ahensya ng gobyerno laban sa droga, against illegal drugs. The backbone of the Philippine drug law enforcement system. Sila yung ahensya ng gobyerno na nangunguna para masugpo ang droga sa ating bansa. The implementation of the National Drug Control Strategy, sila po yung nangangasiwa or nangunguna dyan, who takes full responsibility sa lahat ng anti-drug operation sa ating bansa together with the PNP. The special arm of the government which aims to suppress, di ba, mabawasan ng droga, the drug problem sa ating bansa. Yan po yung PDEA natin. So, one of the law enforcement agencies sa ating bansa na pinapatupad yung batas patungkol sa drugs, di ba, illegal drugs. Next, the BIR, the Bureau of Internal Revenue, enforces tax laws and regulations. Sila yung nag-iimbestiga ng tax evasion cases, yung mga hindi nagbabayad, lalo na yung mga malalaki, yung kanilang mga taxes. And arrest similar violators. Ang BIR po is under the Department of Finance. So, ang BIR po is isa rin sa premier law, di ba, na tasked to enforce the criminal law. Ito po ay to be specific, lalo na sa cases of tax evasion. So, sila po ay nag-enforce din, di ba? Enforce all forfeitures, the penalties, and fines, di ba, in relation to tax evasion. Next natin, the Bureau of Customs. Ito po ay tasked to enforce custom and tariff duties in the Philippine airports and seaport nationwide. So, sila po yung nag-investigate and arrest smugglers, diba? Yung pag-smuggling ng mga tao and those suspected violators of custom laws. So, ano yung meron sa Bureau of Customs? Sila po yung nagsusupervise and nagkocontrol ng lahat ng pumapasok at tumalabas na cargo, diba? Sa mga pier, airports, and etc. for the protection of government revenue. So, hindi maiiwasan na may pinupuslit, diba? In all forms, arms smugglings, diba? Yung mga barrel, even yung mga hayop natin, endangered species na binabenta sa ibang lugar, sa ibang bansa, ng ibang mga product ng bansa natin na nakakalusot, o mga ibang product ng ibang bansa na nakakalusot, diba? Sa Pilipinas, na hindi nakakapagbayad ng tama o kaya naman yung mga illegal na bagay na nakakalusot sa ating bansa. So, sila po yung bahala dyan, the Bureau of Customs. Next, the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas or the BSP. Agency regulates banking industry and enforces banking laws. Investigates, arrests, and prosecutes counterfeit currency manufacturers and passers. So, yung mga nagmamanufacture po ng mga peking currency, ng mga coins natin, sila po ay may authority to investigate, diba, in accordance with law for the purpose of maintaining the integrity of the currency ng pera natin. So, ang BSP po engages in law enforcement operation to combat counterfeiting of Philippine currency and banknotes and coins, as well as foreign currency and the defacement or yung mutilation ng mga pera natin. Yung mga nagpapakalat ng mga mutilated na coins o yung mga sumisira na mismo ng mga coins natin, ng mga pera natin, nagmamanufacture at nagbebenta ng mga counterfeited na coins, currency and banknotes, sila po ay merong authority and power to investigate, to arrest, and prosecute, diba, the criminal case against the offenders. BSP po as one of the law enforcement agency sa ating bansa with regards to banking laws. Next, the Bureau of Immigration, attached agency under the Department of Justice. Ang trabaho po is to enforce the immigration laws of the country, investigate and arrest illegal and undocumented aliens, mga foreigners natin, foreign fugitives, yung mga nagtatago, diba, na kriminal, yung mga takas na kriminal from other countries and criminals operating in the country. Sila po ay may power, diba, and authority to investigate, arrest, diba, and for the detention of the foreigners in violation of immigration regulation and other Philippine laws. So, yung mga aliens natin, mga foreigners natin dito sa bansa na may sabit, diba, sa batas, ang Bureau of Immigration po ang bahala dyan. Next, BFAD enforces and regulates manufacture of food and drugs, investigates and arrests unscrupulous manufacturers and makers of substandard food and drugs without license or permit. So, ini-ensure kasi ng BFAD na safe and good yung quality ng mga produkto, diba? The processed food, the drugs, mga gamot natin, the cosmetics, and to regulate production and the sale to protect the health of the consumer. Sila po yung nagbabantay, sila po yung nag-check kung maganda ba, kung pasado ba yung mga produkto na ginagawa ng mga manufacturers natin, 'di ba, ng mga makers natin. So iniiwasan po na mayroong mga substandard na food and drugs na hindi lisensyado, na walang permit yung mga gumagawa nito. So yan po yung kanilang pinapatupad. Next, the IPO, Intellectual Property Office of the Philippines, the interagency attached under the Department of Trade and Industry, which enforces laws pertaining to intellectual property and copyright laws. Alam naman yung copyright laws, yung pang-copyright, pang-aagaw ng invention, pang-aagaw ng trabaho, ng works, yan man ay mapa-music, mapa-invention, and so on. Kapag yan ay pagmamay-ari ng iba at ginaya mo, kinopya mo, diba? Yan po ay papasok sa intellectual property rights and copyright laws sa ating bansa. Kasi kailangan nga naman that yung mga scientists natin, mga inventors natin, mga artists natin, and others must be secure of the intellectual property o yung creations nila. Diba? Intellectual property meaning yung creations of mind nila, such as inventions nila, artistic works nila, yung designs nila, the symbols nila, yung pangalan nila, and the images used sa kanilang mga works, yun po ay pagmamay-ari nila. So, kaya naman ang sino man, diba, ang mag-trade nito, gumaya nito, in exchange of service, so kinakanya nila, diba, for example, books, kinopya mong lahat and then pinangalanan mo na sa'yo yun. So, hindi po pwede yun. Makaka-copyright po tayo doon. So, yan po yung IPO. Sila po yung nangangasiwa sa intellectual property and copyright laws sa ating bansa. Next, the LTO. Alam kong alam nyo yan. The Land Transportation Office, tasked to regulate land transportation industry and enforces transportation laws and regulations. So, with regards to the enforcement of transportation laws and regulations sa ating bansa, ang LTO po ang bahala dyan. Diba? Who investigates, arrest, and prosecute colorum or out-of-the-line vehicle. So, yan po yung kanilang function. Next, the MTRCB operates against pornographic film shown on television and movie houses. Diba? It is agency under the Office of the President na responsible again for the review, sila yung nagre-review, and then for the classification of television programs, movies, and publicity material. So, yan po ay sinecheck muna nila bago payagan na ipalabas sa sinihan, ipalabas sa TV. MTRCB po yung may hawak niyan. Once na may nag-violate at once na may lumabag, mananagot po sila sa batas. But meron po tayong mga platform na hindi naman saklaw na ng MTRCV na kahit dun mo i-post yung ginawa mong movie, hindi na nila saklaw yan. So, hindi ka nila para hulihin kapag ginawa mo yon, diba? To be specific lang sa mga national TV, sa cinemas. So, yun po yung ilan sa saklaw nila. And then, lastly po sa ating topic, the OMB, Optical Media Board, na noon, siya po ay named as Videogram Regulatory Board, pero now, siya po is the OMB or the Optical Media Board. So, marami pa po tayong law enforcement agencies na kasama po dito dapat. So, ilan lang po to sa pinaka first line of defense, diba, sa ating bansa na nag-enforce ng law para ma-prevent yung crime and para magkaroon ng kaayusan sa ating bansa. Again, the OMB operates against the proliferation of fake and pirated VHS, DVD, VCD, or CD tapes. So, ibig sabihin, pinoprotektahan nila, pinopromote nila yung intellectual property rights in digital form. Alam nyo naman yung mga peking CD, DVD, diba? VCD, CD tapes na kung saan andun yung lahat ng copies ng movie. So, kakapalabas lang sa sine, meron na agad copy. Sa Quiapo, diba? Sa CD, bibili ka na lang. So, yun po ay pinagbabawal. At ang OMB po, diba, nag-cooperate sila against the distribution, the reproduction, o yung copying ng mga yon, diba, in digital form. So, yan po si OMB. And again, sabi ko nga kanina, marami pa tayong law enforcement na agency sa bansa. So, pag-uusapan nyo rin yan sa mga laya subjects nyo. Susunod na SEM, diba? To be specific, the PNP, pag-aaralan nyo pa yung history niya, yung functions and duties niya ng mas malawak, together with the other law enforcement agency, diba, nakatulong nila, diba, in enforcing laws sa ating bansa. So, yan lang po yung topic natin today. And next lesson, we are specific now sa isang function and duty ng kapulisan natin, diba, in making arrest at sa pag-conduct ng search and seizure. So, kailan natin pwedeng sabihin na valid yung pag-aaresto mo, kailan natin pwedeng sabihin na valid yung pag-conduct mo ng search and seizure, at kailan din natin pwedeng sabihin na pwede tayong mag-conduct ng arrest, na pwede tayong manghuli or mag-conduct ng search and seizure even without warrant na galing kay judge. So, yan po yung pag-uusapan natin, yung tamang pang-aresto at marami pang iba. So, that's all for today. Thank you.